The Chinese government has created a new social engineering scheme called Sesame Credit, which looks and acts like a game, but its true purpose is to garner obedience to the state. The system rates Chinese citizens on how closely they adhere to the party line. It pulls data from the internet, social media, online purchases, and search histories. So if a Chinese person posts about the recent stock market crash, their Sesame Credit goes down. If they share a link from a state-sponsored media outlet that pushes propaganda, well, the Sesame Credit goes up. So if you make online purchases that the Chinese government favors, your score is going to go up. And likewise, if you buy imports from places like Japan, the score goes down. So critics fear the implications of such an app, and it's easy to see why. Besides the obvious tyranny of it all, those with higher scores are going to find life easier. If someone has to deal with the Chinese bureaucracy for travel documents or getting a loan, a higher score is going to ease the process. And life for those with lower scores is likely to become harder. Being penalized through slower internet speeds and fewer job opportunities are just some of the rumors that are floating around. So right now the game is optional, but it's going to become mandatory by 2020. But in the meantime, many Chinese citizens have taken this new app very seriously, and they're posting their scores online and competing with one another. And this, of course, is exactly what the Chinese government wants. They want people competing with each other over who is more obedient to the state. So by turning this into a game, a social app, the Chinese government is proving that the internet can and is being used for very sinister purposes. So the question is, how long is it going to take for Western nations to adopt this system? Well, nearly every country in the world has some form of credit system that uses private information to determine just how risky a person is. Typically, it's for credit cards and mortgages. You know, if a person has a bad history of not paying back their debts, then it's obviously harder for them to get a loan. Now, in a free society, one that's not dominated by big banks and fiat currency, this system works. But since we're not living in a free society, the credit rating system of the West is vulnerable to the kind of omnipotent power that the Chinese government is engaging in. By 2020, China plans on having a giant database of every citizen, along with all the information necessary to make this scheme work. And if successful, we can expect a similar implementation here in the West. With cultural Marxism fully in place, a social credit system would be just what the doctor ordered. In this decadent Western culture, the ego is celebrated. Doxing people you disagree with is the modern-day witch hunt. People hook up with each other by swiping right, and self-worth is determined by how many likes you get on Facebook or Instagram. Privacy is really a thing of the past, and so a voluntary social credit system for the West isn't really too far-fetched. And with corporate state media's approval, it could be sold to the public fairly easily. But first, of course, the powers that be will likely look to China to gauge just how successful this is. Success, of course, as determined by the Chinese government. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found the info useful. And also check the description for all the sources to this video, and also to where you can support our work here at Press for Truth. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon to pressfortruth.ca.